Hey guys, Moops here, and today I'm here by myself, and I'm bringing you Pleb to Pro's second episode of Community Coaching, where we'll be going over Braxis Holdout. So Braxis is a 2-lane map with heavy reliance on draft. Because you're always out in the lane showing your presence and you gotta stay there for a long time to get those beacons, it's really important to have a couple things. These things include self-sustain tanks and sustain healers, things like Mouth and Stukov. And it's also really important to have strong solo laners, just because, if you don't lose top lane, then they can't get both beacons. But yeah, let's get into it. Alright, welcome everyone to episode 2, session 2, whatever it is. I'm gonna go through Braxis today because Lorne wanted to do Braxis, but Lucky is here, right? Yep. We're playing Braxis on Wednesday, so this will be good to have a quick overview and teach your teams. I don't know if there's going to be much time, but try teach your teams anyway. Go through it. There's not too much to learn about Braxis, to be honest. I think this map is probably one of the most draft-dependent maps. So if you lose draft, you're not in a great place for Braxis, just because the lanes are so static. You're stuck in say bot or top, and you don't really move that much. So now we'll go quick to this, and we'll run through it all for you.
Last week you guys said that you wanted us to comment more on like drafts and stuff, so this week we will go a bit more in depth on drafts, especially on a map like this where draft does have a much higher impact than say Infernal Shrines. So this is just a Hero League game from Moops.
Yeah, this is a Hero League game. Because everyone's replays that they sent through were all in the old patch, so you can't actually watch those together, which kind of sucks because we lost a lot of replays, but hopefully for next week there won't be any issues getting new replays out. So.
Yeah.
There's still a lot to learn from this one. You can see from the drafts, we'll run through a couple things that are really important when you draft in Braxis.
For starters, I guess you want to sustain support, so like your Malfurion, your Stukov, your Medic, for example. The enemy team you can see has Anna. She's just not very good at the moment, so they're already at a disadvantage. You also want loads of wave clear on Braxis, not just for the Zerg, but to push in the lane as well. So you notice blue team has Jaina and red team has Gul'dan. Both really good at wave clear. You also want, of course, a solo laner. Both teams have the Dahaka and Thrall.
So generally speaking, when you're drafting on Braxis, there's a couple of things to think of. Your bot lane's going to be stuck here for, I don't know, the next 4 minutes, let's say. So whoever can last in the lane longer generally wins. So you want tanks who can self-sustain. You want supports who can not have burst heal, like a Uther, for example. You want those really high sustain supports. You want a lot of wave clear, and you want a solo lane who can win. So for example, it's really good to draft your solo lane last, because if they have like a Dahaka, for example, you can drop a Malthael and just counter them, and you pretty much one top, right?
10 seconds.
So in this game here,
5,
yeah, as Haki mentioned, the Ana, you can see, you're going to be able to see how we exploit the Ana, just because she can't sustain her team. Through the entire early game, the most important thing for you guys to do is wave clear. Like, you're not going to get any kills with a 4v4 down bot, so it's really important to concentrate your Jaina and your Gul'dan in this case, to concentrate on wave clearing. You can see that in the start here, Floki's going to decide to use his spells on the heroes instead, which kind of sets them back really far.
Yeah, it's hard to push on the beacon if like you got waves pushing into your towers constantly.
Kind of like what we mentioned on Infernal Shrines the other day, how if your creeps are pushing in, you can't do your objectives, right? So just make sure you always clear the creeps. Like, look, a Gul'dan should always out-clear everyone pretty much, but they're already falling behind just because he's wasting his spells on the heroes.
So as a result, you guys control the globe at the bottom as well.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like you can see, see how our ranged creeps are just still autoing them just because they haven't cleared it. So they're already at a, while minimal, it's still a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you concentrate on clearing as a priority. In like every map, the early game is all about clearing. I think these creeps have probably ordered that guy for about the last 20 seconds. Same thing here, you just want to quickly clear.
It may seem small, but every little thing counts. You don't really want to be pushing through creeps too while fighting, ever.
Nothing really happens for the game of Braxis. It's pretty static. Once the shrine spawned, then things get a little bit more interesting.
I think they would have benefited more if they drafted some follow-up for the Stitches hook, because he got Mouth into the towers and then he just walked away.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
exactly.
Nufa. I mean, it's Anna. Even Nufa would have been better there, but you could have gone like Stukov or something. Definitely would have been
But
better.
you got to remember, this is also just Hero League, so the draft isn't too, well thought out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so one control. Teams often fall into is they concentrate so hard on winning the beacons, but it's similar to Dragonshire, where if you get the DK, yeah, you're going to propel your team forward by a lot, but it's not.
You don't want to
You're
be
already
running
winning
around
the
the map
four-man.
trying to get it. You can.
Exactly. If you're already winning the 4-man, there's no point, because you're going to lose the 3v4 and you might get top, but then you've lost it. As the winning 4-man, all you want to do is just push. Grab the beacon in your lane. And if you get a kill, then it's a different scenario.
Yeah, if you get a kill, you can send one of them top. Like, for example, if they get a kill, the Tracer can go top and gank and secure top 2 while the rest of the team pushes.
But otherwise, you just want to stay here. Like, we're just pushing here, and we just get some value down bot. There's no point going anywhere else. Just remember not to greed for the shrines. You won't get too much value.
So just question on that: if you're in the losing 4-man, what should you be doing? Should you be trying to rotate or?
Yep, that's a good question. And the next replay we'll show is, we'll show you what to do. But yeah, you kind of just want to keep them running around the map and just pressure elsewhere. If you know you're losing, you just want to like gank top and stuff and just pressure elsewhere. Just keep the enemy team guessing and running. The enemy team should push against you, but if you have good wave clear, you should be able to deal with it. Yeah, definitely want to, like, if you're losing the 4-man, don't just sit there like running like these guys do. Keep running at the beacon, hoping something different will happen.
It just hurts.
It's also, you got to just think about why you're losing the 4-man. If you're losing the 4-man solely because you have less wave clear, once you're on the beacons, if you can clear a wave and just take a 4-on-4 fight, you might be able to start winning that lane. It's entirely like why you're losing. If you can't do anything, you're literally just stuck behind this gate, then yeah, you got to find value elsewhere on the map. You're never going to win that lane. So maybe if you send your 4-man top and swap with the Thrall, or maybe you just send one person up and gank, whatever it is, you got to get out of that stalemate where you're just sitting there doing nothing. Okay, so in this scenario, we just got a kill. So the Tracer runs top. Something you have to make sure is, as the bottom players right now, you no longer need to hold that point, because obviously there's a man disadvantage, right? So you're gonna get top for sure because there's 2v1. But if you fight bottom right now, you have a risk of losing your advantage. So
Yeah, right now,
yeah,
bottom.
they're trying to hold it right now, but it's not worth it.
If they just back out and wait, they guarantee secure this when Tracer gets back. They already win in the 4-man, but now they're all so low that when Tracer gets back, they don't just win the beacon straight away, just because they all got, chunked. And then Tracer comes in and tries to be a hero.
Yeah. So just remember to
Classic.
slow down a bit and don't rush. If you're winning, if you control top, then you can just come back down slowly, get down there, and then you can win it together as a team. Just don't panic, and make sure you communicate with your team. Like, this is what's happening. Don't die for holding onto the shrine, because I'm gonna come back in a second, and then we'll go.
Yeah, it's all about
So
discipline,
shot callers,
especially on a
you gotta
map
make
like this.
sure you communicate that. I think Braxis and Dragonshire, communication between your solo lane and your rotation is very important. Just because you need to know when you can cap one point without losing the other. So if your solo lane says he's going to lose top, then you know that you need to put more pressure on bottom and get that, or they're going to get the DK, and vice versa. So if your 4-man's losing bot, make sure your top lane knows that you've got to push for that shrine, or they're going to start winning again.
What is it worth going for camps?
It's similar to before when the Tracer found the opportunity to gank. They got a kill, they can rotate up to gank, or they can get a camp. But if it's 4v4 stalemate, then there's no real point. You're not going to get much value from it.
If you're constantly shoving them in though, and they're clearing 2 other towers, you can then take a camp and like look to push with that and put a bit more pressure on them. If they're playing super safe and they're just clearing.
If you find an opportunity to gank, that's also an opportunity to do a camp, pretty much.
Okay, would you ever do it as the defensive team that's losing the tournament?
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing you could do. See, if the defensive team, if they're actually just stuck behind you, just grab the camp, then you've got the pressure advantage, you clear their wave, and then they're fighting into the wave, right? That's a good time.
That's when you can try and get some map control back as well.
You just got to be careful that they don't just start pushing your whole fort down while you're grabbing a camp, which would not be great for your bottom lane.
All comes down to comps again. You can't have like a crappy comp that can't do camps.
Okay, so as soon as you get the Zerg, you just want to get back, get ready for the Zerg. I think this is a good showing of what happens when you actually get the Zerg. What do you do?
Right now, for blue team, they got the Zerg, but they're not positioned at all for it. They should honestly just push bot. By the time they get up there, in fact, but what they do is they split off, and that's never good when you get the Zerg. Should just push either the lane the Zerg is, or the other lane.
Yeah, this is pretty much the worst thing you can do right now. You can see like 2 people are bot trying to find an Alarak. Some of us are rotating up, and there's no real coordination of what we're doing. Like our ETC ends up dying down bot, and then we don't really get too much value from this. Like you can see, like Tracer's up top doing nothing because we're just so low. Our support's not up there. So
you would say in that situation, like say the solo laner is at top and then the 4 down bot, and you get the Zerg wave in the top lane, you would just tell the solo laner to kind of continue pushing, and if everyone else is down bot, just stay at bot as opposed to wasting the travel time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just okay.
You should know when you're going to secure the Zerg too. If you know you've pretty much guaranteed it, you should be looking to rotate up to push with it. But if it's a situation where the Dahaka to see down to like help keep the beacon going, then and you're already fighting there, you should honestly just stay bot instead of like mounting up, splitting off, trying to rotate up. You'd get they would have got much more value. They would have got a fort bot when the enemy team rotated to clear top.
Yeah.
Would you at least keep one? Sorry, would you at least keep one person top to try and catch the soak?
Yeah, you'd send the Dahaka back top.
So if the Dahaka goes top by himself, his sole responsibility, because there's 4 heroes up here defending, his sole responsibility is to just stand there and soak. You're not going to get a kill. You're not going to get anything. All you want to do is make sure you
just
get
don't die.
Minions that die, and make sure you don't die. Because if you die, then you just it's your being up there was a complete waste of time, and it's just negative. But in this scenario, for example, me being up here by myself, I'm literally doing nothing for the team.
Yeah, you got the kill, but that's Hero League. If it was a competitive game, it would have been much cleaner, and yeah, the enemy team wouldn't have been like standing outside the gate. They would have cleared it safely, and they would have got no value.
Yeah, like if I was bot with the team, ETC probably wouldn't have died. We would have got those 2 outers for sure, and we probably would have even gotten the fort. So that's just, you got to make sure your team's ready and they're on the same page. As soon as you get the Zerg, you know which lane you're pushing, even if it's not with the Zerg.
And if the defending team has a rag, would you just automatically go to the opposite lane, I guess, or like the 4-man just automatically push on the opposite lane? But pushing into the rags.
That's a good thing to think about. It just yeah, rags are really hard hero to push into. You want to at least force his D, because he doesn't necessarily have to D if you're just pushing the other lane, right? He can just D the lane you're in, and then his other guys can clear the other lane. So if you force him to D, then you can just push the other lane, or you can push into it if you've got enough damage. Then
yeah, if you've got say a Chromie for example, Chromie can just pop in the second he Ds, gets him to like half health, and if the gate's already down, it's easier to destroy his molten core. It's always situational, but yeah, you just got to look at the situation. Try and force the D always though, and then decide what to do.
If the gate's up and he D's early, he's probably going to nuke most of the Zerg before they get through the gate. So it might not be worth pushing in that lane. But if the gate's already down, the Zerg's on top of the Rag D, you can probably just burst it and kill him. But yeah, it's just situational, really. Also, in saying that, Rag's actually not that good on Braxis because he loses a lot of 1v1s. So even though D is really good for defending, you don't really get many Zerg waves because Rag's not the best 1v1er.
Yeah, he can stall the game out, even if, especially if you take Lava Wave, but still not the best for the map.
Okay, so yeah, as you can see, we just had a full Zerg and we got top outers at most. So it wasn't the best use of it. So about mercs on this map. These mercs do negative armor damage, so they reduce your armor, and they also are really tanky. So if you get these duo mercs, it's really important to push with them because you'll get a lot more value.
You don't want to just take that camp and just leave it to push. I mean, you can,
They're
but
just gonna clear them out. But as you can see, like they're already reducing the armor, and then if you take this fight, you're at such an advantage. But obviously, if someone's dead, you can't do it.
yeah, the Jaina should not have gone and done the hards by herself. She should have been with the team, and they could have possibly got picks and pushed for the mercs.
Yeah, these mercs are really strong. I would say that on this map, the easies, so these two camp is a lot stronger than the hards, just because of their armor reduction and how tanky they are. So they're really good value. If you grab them, just push, just fall. Like you'll get a lot of structures, a lot of damage. Alright, we're 10. We're trying to push our advantage. Going for hards is maybe a bit greedy, so we just start pushing a bit. This is just Hero League, remember, so I'm sure in a real scenario someone would have told him, get back from top, they're coming.
Blue team has destroyed the fort.
It's really good. You guys get picks, they're still 10. And then they get the boss now. They can get the beacons. Like, the enemy team's probably going to stop the beacons for a bit, but they get the boss is going to push down a lane, and they'll get the beacons regardless after. So it's good that they get the boss now. It opens up the lane already, puts more pressure on the enemy team, denies them a chance to come back, and they can get the beacons after. You don't have to just try and get both. You can just be patient, take the boss first, and then get the beacons after.
And a little mechanic about this boss. This boss does increasing damage as it shoots you. So if you're tanking it for 5 seconds, it does a lot more damage than if you tanked it for 1 second and alternate who's tanking it. So it's really important that if your tanks, you've got a solo tank, just juggle the aggro for a bit so that the tank doesn't just die. Because by the time the boss is almost dead, if your tank is solo tanking it, this boss does a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's why loads of teams throw on this boss. We're no strangers to that.
This boss is always a throw pit. You gotta really watch out for it because, if there's only 3 of you and your tank solo tanking, you're probably gonna end up dead.
I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah, I actually didn't have any idea about it either, but McIntyre from Heroes Hearth did a merking vid recently. I'll probably link it to you guys later. But he outlines what this boss actually does, and I was like, no wonder everyone's always dead on this boss. But this boss actually doesn't get too much value, if you guys have noticed. On this map, this Braxis boss isn't actually a win condition, because usually it just stands there and does that machine gun thing, and then it just gets cleared out. So the Zerg is the win condition on Braxis, and the boss is just a decoy to get the Zerg. So if you get the boss when Zerg's not up, you probably won't get anything out of it.
Yeah, the boss gives you the opportunity to get a free Zerg wave pretty much most of the time.
We use the boss solely to get the
It also softens up one of the lanes.
So to juggle the aggro, you just move the tank I guess out from the center and someone else.
So it shoots whoever's closest.
Okay.
With any bosses, with any mercs, they shoot whoever's closest. Besides that stupid turret one, the one where you capture a turret on Volk, that one just shoots whoever, and I always get so much damage from that, and it's very sad.
Wait, you talking about the Triglav?
No, the
You haven't
the
lost
turret
Gaia.
creep.
Oh,
Turret camp. Yeah, the turret keeps on shooting whoever it's shooting unless you go out of the range.
oh, I hate that camp. I hate that
Yeah, I
map.
hate it. Yeah. We're not doing that map for a while, don't worry, guys.
It's last on the alphabet.
Okay, so that was obviously super crazy by the other team. They tried to fight past the boss at a losing fight, and then
They
just
didn't even
got
have
split up
tens
and died.
either.
Like they should have just killed the boss and then played their cards a bit better.
Yeah, because they do have good wave clear in the Gudan.
Yeah.
So now they get the Zerg. You'll notice that they're just going to do the camp now instead of just pushing with this boss. Because the boss isn't going to get too much. It's going to soften up that front wall for them, but other than that, the enemy team's just going to clear it for free. So they're setting up for their win condition, which is the Zerg. This camp and the Zerg should win them the game, as long as they don't die with it.
Zerg plans open.
Yeah,
The
this boss
larger
like
attack
just
wave.
Yeah.
it gets cleared out so easily.
Yeah,
So
if
we
they pushed for
wanna-
that, they wouldn't have got anything. Maybe a bit more of the wall.
This is actually a really bad play by us. If this wasn't Hirali, because the best opportunity for the red side to take a fight is right now before the Zerg wave comes. I'm not sure if you guys know, but Zerg wave is aggro's heroes, so you never want to defend the Zerg wave and try and fight through it, because the Zerg's going to aggro on top of you and then you're going to all die. So you always want to just concentrate on clearing. If they've got the Zerg, all you can do is clear. And this was the best fight they could get because the Zerg wasn't there yet. If they had a good fight, it was 4v5, Tahaka would have had to Z in slowly. This was the best fight that they could get. So when you're in a winning position like this, like that we were, all we had to do is just wait for the Zerg and just push together, and we probably could core here.
Yeah, well, they won the fight. They still gave the enemy
Yeah.
team an opportunity, which they didn't need to.
HOTS is a lot about just opportunities. If you give them an opportunity to win, it's so easy to throw in HOTS. That's why it's very important to macro properly so that you don't actually throw
And
out
stay
anything.
disciplined, so you don't give enemy teams so many opportunities.
Yeah, I think at this stage you probably want to just leave the keep and just defend that core. But yeah, they forward now. They're probably going to lose the game.
It's actually too bad they didn't have any good Stitches follow-up, because SMS
Yeah,
obviously got
sure.
a lot of good hooks, but it's just nothing to be done afterwards.
Alright, in this scrim, we're against Crimson. We've got Modern as our sub, and you can see from the drafts, who do you guys think has the winning draft?
Guys?
Crimson's got a very good wave clear draft.
Yeah, so pretty much in this game,
Yeah, Crimson win the 4-man and the solo lane, looking at those drafts.
yeah, Mouthfeel is probably one of the strongest solo lanes, along with Sonya, and Gul'dan's like hands down the best hero probably on Braxis, just because of the wave clear. So Crimson have straight up outdrafted us, but what we want to show you in this game is, even though we're better players, that your draft is just so important on this map. So we'll run through the lanes, and you can just see like how much we struggle at bot just because their self-sustain, their sustain comp and their wave clear comp just absolutely destroys us. We won't show you too much up top, but Mouth destroys the Haka as well. So I think like, for example, Maiev is really popular right now. And if you guys get baited into the pick just because Maiev is popular, you might struggle like this because it's not the best pick for the map.
Also, it doesn't help when your Maiev player has a level 4 Maiev. Feel
Yeah,
free to
that's
give
it.
me Maiev tips, guys, when we're watching this. I only learned in a QM recently that you got to put your cage down straight away, otherwise they just walk out of it.
Yeah, it's like a 1.5 second delay.
Yeah, you'll see it a couple times this game.
Okay, so I think mentioned last game how the Gul'dan wasn't wave clearing. You can see this game from Altivian's play. That's all he concentrates on.
Instantly
And
shoves
you'll
in.
see how much pressure it has on us. You got Tyrael shielding the creep wave, and you've got Gul'dan just concentrating on clearing. And now you can see from our positioning, like we literally can't do anything. We
Yeah,
just
they also
sit
have a
there.
Stukov as well, which makes wave clear even harder for us.
We that was 40 seconds in, and we've almost lost someone just because they cleared the creep wave and we couldn't handle it. They've got the globes. They've got pretty much this bot lane 1 at this stage. We're trying to match with their wave clear, but yeah, Gul'dan, Tyrael, well, there's no chance that we'll ever keep up with their things, and we're just getting poked down for free. This is one of those frustrating Braxis games in Hero League where your team just drafts so bad, you literally just lose the game from draft.
That's silence as well on the gate.
Yeah, exactly. Stukov is so strong in a offensive position. So I think at this point we realized we're not gonna win bot, and you can't win top as well as a Dahaka against a Malthael. So the only thing that we can do is look for a Dahaka dig gank for a fight, and I think that's what we're.
No, we don't realize straight away. We give it one last hoorah.
Okay, we give it one last chance. Look at that Stukov control, and we're just like sitting there doing nothing while they cap it. Okay, Dahaka comes down. We're like, okay, we got to try fight. We miss the tongue, and then Dahaka has to run back up top.
That is another thing though on this map. If you are losing the 4-man and you have a Dahaka, he can help you win it with a proper dig play. But we did not communicate that play well at all. So he lost like top, and we didn't get any value bot. They're just gonna, clear bot and then regain the beacon. But if like you actually communicate the dig play properly, it can actually turn the 4-man around because you can get picks and then snowball the lane a bit, push it in, and look like to take your camp as well and stuff like that. Even gang top after. But we failed the dig play, so now we're in a really crappy position. So we realised that, and we decided to send me top to just gank. There's no point me staying bot. We're losing bot already. Pressure elsewhere on the map.
Yep. So you mentioned when you're losing the lane, what do? This is what you do. You gotta rotate and make a play elsewhere. Like there was no chance for us to make a play bot without dig. Luckily, yeah. So we get a kill top, which stops them, but they straight away just push bot, and we can't do much about it. So at least we try to counter that by pushing top.
This would have actually been really good for them if they didn't lose the Malthael. Losing the Malthael for them was pretty big. Or for us. Big for us, I guess.
So they should have communicated that, oh, there's one missing a bot
Yeah.
or something like that.
If he didn't die there, they would have been able to just keep pushing bot properly and, kept him top to Soak safely. But now they are losing too much top that they have to respond.
Yeah, because they are winning the 4-man, it's good for them to match us, whereas it's not good for us to match them. So we kind of want to just dodge them the whole time.
Yeah, so now we're just kind of running them around the map, trying to
Yeah, this is where-
keep them guessing as well. Like we're trying not to show as well at times.
This is where communication between the two lanes is really important. See, they got top, but it doesn't really matter because we just got bot back. So we kind of want to just juggle it because until 10, there's no way we have a chance against this comp. And we're just like juggling them around to make them waste time. They push top, we want to try push bot instead.
Hero slain.
Yeah. That's the thing where if you're trying to defend their big push, just gotta make sure you don't die.
By the way, while there's nothing happening, have any of you encountered a bug with Blaze? A bunker bug, maybe? Like not being able to get out the bunker?
I haven't had that problem,
Hmm.
but I typically do combustion build instead.
Oh, okay. I was just
It's not
wondering.
bug drawing.
All I've been copying is putting down 4 Medivh portals.
Oh yeah, I've seen that actually crop up some of the time. Yeah, that was the game that we were in.
Hmm.
This is pretty bad of us. We all rotated top and at least soak bot for no reason. Try and skew the beacon.
So this is a real struggle for us. You can see how much we're struggling. We're just getting poked down by a cooldown. We can't initiate on them, and they get the beacon. At this stage, similar to Infernal Shrines, if you have like an open lane with no gates or anything, most of the time you just sack that structure. There's no point trying to defend this fort. It's on like 10% HP. It's gonna die in a second.
Yeah.
So we just pull back.
If they get picks now, they can, you know, possibly get keep. It's too scary for us. We just try and defend at the keep wall and minimize our losses here.
Against Stukov, that's really hard.
Yeah, again, you see the
Yeah,
power
where
of
it's
their
from,
comp.
but-
And you see our wave clear is not that good at the moment. Until Junkrat gets Riptide, he's not going to have to clear these Zerg waves instantly.
Yeah, we're still getting poked down. They're getting so much free value. They're almost 10, and we're pretty far behind actually.
Lucky for us,
Oh, that
thanks to
was a
some,
really nice combo.
thanks to some clean Maya play, right, guys? Nah, lucky for us, they do overextend a tiny bit in greed, trying to get the keep before they get 10, and that gives us an opportunity. That was greedy of them. After they got the wall down, they should have realized that their Zerg was too low.
Yeah, it's just really important to understand, are you going to get the keep or not? Do you have a grey main, for example, that's going to shred this keep? If not, you're hanging around for no reason. They just stood in front of our keep for, I don't know, an extra 15 seconds while
Yeah,
they weren't getting anything.
the Dahaka also walked top. He didn't dig top as well. They didn't communicate that Dahaka was missing, which is another thing. If they
Yeah,
wanted to
that's
do that,
like-
they should have rotated the Malfi up possibly to help.
If they just stayed back, we probably wouldn't have even gotten 10 before the next beacons. So
Yeah, they would have got
you
10
can see
to complete control
how
of the
far
map.
ahead they really were. So there's not too much to do during this phase. We're just trying to really catch up to level 10 and hope that, you know, at 10 we might be able to take a even fight.
Yeah, right now we're just trying to avoid them. They're 10. We definitely don't want to fight. We know they're not on our camp, so we'll quickly take this before they can. And even though they're 10, they can't really do that boss. That boss just destroys teams. So as long as we keep vision on it, you know, occasionally check it, we know we're in a decent spot. We just get 10 before the next beacon phase.
So there's nothing really for us to do at the moment, so we're just trying to stay off the map so they don't know where we are.
Yeah, that's an important thing. You
Really
don't,
anyway.
you shouldn't show on the map if you don't have to. You don't need to all be standing around for clearing a wave. Right now they have no clue where we are. We should have communicated to our Dahaka that they were all missing as well. He shouldn't have died there. Second we see them bot though, we push. We know that they're not going to be able to go up in time. We get our 10, we just start pushing. And they push bot as well.
That's just the pain of a solo laner, to be honest.
Yeah, that was...
People don't call rotations.
Yeah.
It is a struggle.
It's a little bit of both though, they were all missing.
Yeah, don't blame your team, Claymore, come on.
Oh, I don't. I definitely don't. Like, I pay pretty close attention.
Here's a good thing though. Right now, they were pushing bot. Instead of all recalling, we go off the map. If we all recall now, they just go like, you know, they get complete map control, we're on base. But instead we got the map. They don't know if we've recalled, they don't know who's recalled or if anyone's recalled. And they have to back off bot because they don't know where we are. But we also didn't go back to base, so we didn't just give them complete control of the map. So now we're still topside, but yeah, they backed off bot because they had no clue where we were. That's the importance of vision.
A team would be completely crazy to just run at this keep. So
Yeah,
you
with us
guys
all
might
missing.
feel threatened, like there's 4 bot, they're in front of our keep, they're gonna keep pushing. But if you just get off the map and then put that, you know, where are you factor in, then most of the time teams would just back off. And you don't want to have to come all the way out of base again. So it's really important to just get off the map. And you can like fake backs, like spam B. So if they do keep pushing, you can go back. But
You
At
can
least
even
this
look to
way.
gank them as well. You can like, if they are constantly pushing, you can look to rotate and get a pincer on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, most teams like Crimson would just back out because it is the right thing to do. And now we're still
And
not
if they do
showing.
push, then just kill them all. So it's a win-win situation.
Right now we're still not showing. We kind of want to bait them. We want to fight them. We want them to come up and like try and find us. We don't want them to just, you know, play the map and try and get 13. We want to try and get a fight, get a team fight with now that we've got our ults. So we're all hiding.
Yeah, we're not even actually capping this because we don't want them to know where we are. So you can see us all posturing around here, but not actually showing.
The fact that we're not capping this, they probably think we're
Like, I think
rotating bot side.
Morden's actually in a bad position right now because they're obviously going to check a bush. If he was further back, then we could have gotten the fight we wanted. But instead, he was a bit too
He
far
actually
out.
kind of baits them pretty hard though. Yeah. Sorry guys, new to my
Yeah,
eyes.
lots of value there.
That
Dude, I still haven't even read some of the talents I pick. A player told me to just pick these talents, I've just been going with it.
Yeah, so we ended up getting a really good fight just because they couldn't play the map. They
Wait,
couldn't
they're wrong?
do what their comp wanted to do, and we could kind of do what we wanted to do.
Yeah, we got that fight because of vision as well. Like, they didn't see the Maya there, they didn't know where we were, they were kind of running blind, and we got the picks.
Which is actually kind of stupid for them because they're in the lead already. There's no reason for them to force a fight. Like, if they just kept on going, they would have gotten more value.
Hang on, so what would have been the better thing for them to do instead of go rotate top to get the bigger?
Safe rotation.
Yeah, just wait. Like, if you clear that one wave, we're going to eventually have to catch the wave, right? Or we're just losing all this value.
Yeah,
But if-
they were definitely going to get 13 before us. It was like 12-10 almost. Yeah, it was 12-10. They were going to get 13. So all they had to do was just chill. They didn't have to do anything really. Just clear the wave, and if we don't catch the wave, then they know that we're hiding them. We're missing soak, and they're getting soak.
Yeah. A lot of the time, doing nothing is probably the better option. Like, when you're in a lead, you don't want to do too much.
Yeah, you don't want to be running
just-
blind.
Yeah. Like, they just ran blind into a fight into us when they were already in the lead, which gives us the big advantage. Like, defensive positions always has the advantage. Yeah, we get a couple kills now, and we're kind of... Like, we're in an XP lead right now.
Right, and unfortunately, the bunker bugs here.
Yeah, you can see Morden slowly getting out of his, which he's calling the bug. But yeah. I think at this stage...
We honestly should have sent the Junkrat down with us as well. After we got those kills, we didn't really need him top. Our main priority was to secure the Zerg. Top was already open, like the fort was open, so the Zerg's going to get that anyways. So him staying top to push and get, you know, one wave of XP rather than securing the Zerg wave was not worth it. And in the end it does. We get punished pretty hard for it. As you can see, we don't secure the Zerg, we all have to back out. And the game's, you know, we couldn't turn that team fight that we won into a snowball like we wanted. We got a bit greedy trying to get both.
Trying to get 13, but we didn't need 13 because they're dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, we all heal up and get back out there, but now we've already lost our 5v3 advantage or whatever it was.
And they can just, you know, do what we were doing earlier, dance us around until they get 13 themselves.
Okay, that was a really early fear by him, which
Yeah.
gave us an
And then a really interesting bunker.
Yeah. God.
So this game is a lot of what not to do. It's a bit of a fiesta of a game.
I'm pretty sure I saw Physics miss his own concussive mine.
Yeah. Was this at top up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Okay, good.
Luckily, the Mayav player is playing perfect. Right, guys?
This is the kind of thing where, when I ask my team members, what heroes can you play? And then he says he can play Junkrat. But a thing that I really emphasize is what level can you play it at? Because, for example, I can play Junkrat, sure. I don't know the talents, but if I read them, I know how you play them. You just concussive mind them into you and you shoot them, right? But the level that you want people to list in your team sheet, when you list heroes that you're comfortable playing with, that you want them to be your best heroes. You don't want to have 10 heroes there. I don't want to list every single support hero. Sure, I know how to play them, but in a competitive setting, I want maybe max 5 heroes, and I'm gonna get one every time, right?
Yeah, and you
So
want your
just
people
really
to be.
want to show those ones.
For example, I'm really confident on Chromie, and I try and get other heroes to that standard. I don't think I can play Maya, like, obviously. I can play her, but not well. And I definitely would not hold her up to, like, the Chromie standard. So Moots would not be drafting her for a long time for me until I think I'm, comfortable on her.
If it was a competitive game, for example, and I was like, can we draft Mayev right now? Or do we have to keep on banning it? My team would be like, no, we can't play Mayev, don't do it. And we would just ban her every time because we don't have a player right now. But if it was... If your team thinks that they can play her, but they can't, and they end up playing like Hacky, then you lost a competitive game for no reason.
I'm injured too,
Hacky knows
guys.
that, so it's okay.
I just really wanted to play
so
Maya. I haven't played the game in a while.
you guys just got to be really honest with yourself. Like, if this is a best of 5, it's the 5th game. Like, what hero would you want? Like, those are your comfortable heroes. If someone asked me, do you want Malf in a best of 5 last game for BlizzCon, I would say no. I don't want Malf. Give me a Rhaegar or give me a medic, and we'll win. But if you give me a Malf, I'm nervous, So just your team wants to know what your best heroes are, and then draft around those.
And your team's not going to judge
so-
you too, so don't feel like you have to put every hero on there. I remember
I
we were
think that's
trying.
a big mistake a lot of teams do. They just try to make their hero pools too wide. Like last year when we went to BlizzCon, we literally had like 5 heroes each, and that was it. And that's all we played.
Some
and
people
it
only had
worked.
2.
Some people had 2, exactly, and that was all we needed. Like we
Yeah.
drafted Greymane every game, and that's all that Demise needed to play.
I know how Demise feel.
Yeah,
I get stuck on hard zone
happens.
so fucking much now. I'm so over it.
Exactly. In the Greymane, Genji, Hanzo meta, whoever had first pick would literally always get that one hero. And if you had one incredibly good Genji, Hanzo, or Greymane player, every time you had first pick, you pretty much won the game. So
Yeah, same with
I think-
supports too. There's only like a couple supports always picked.
Yeah.
So most of the time, your support player's only going to play like 3 or 4 supports, and one
and
support
that's
he'll
part
play a
of
game.
competitive.
Yeah,
You usually will get stuck on the same hero because that's what's really strong at the moment.
it's about playing for the team, and
And it's not about, I guess competitive is about fun, but it's about winning ultimately. And if you're stuck on Stukov every game, so be it, right? As long as you win. If you lose every game and you're playing Stukov, then
you need to grind that
you can
hero
talk
then.
about something. Yeah, I think we just get some extended fights here, and we okay, this is a big point to make. We've already won the Zerg, but we don't notice because we're too busy fighting.
Yeah,
If we
should
all
just
backed out here, we could just go top and push. But instead, we keep fighting, which is a really big mistake that we make.
Yeah, we could either like tap and push, but instead, yeah, we tunnel on the fight and someone dies. Stay too long and then we just have to recall. We're missing one, so we get no value out of this Zerg at all. They're just gonna back and clear it for free. So again, discipline comes into it, and we get punished again for it. Like they gave us opportunities to come back, and we threw them away ourselves.
So even if our early game draft was just so bad and they had this big advantage, there was still opportunities for us to win if we just played it better. But we ended up not playing it great, and we just this entire Zerg wave, which would have gotten keep if we had 5 heroes there.
Minimum keep all though. It didn't even get like a tower.
It literally tickled that tower because we just made one wrong decision.
Zerg
Yeah, we
waves
tunneled on a
Yeah.
fight. We didn't stay
reset
disciplined.
units
Waves of
as per
minions.
protocol.
We got some minions. Good work, team. Yeah, so there's a lot of stalemates in Braxis where after the Zerg camp, people just grab their camps and nothing happens unless you're in like a huge advantage. No one's gonna invade.
Here's a
And-
good point though.
Okay, so as a tank player, I don't know if any of you guys are tanks, but you want to teach your tank player that
Vision is more important. Like the tank player does not need to be doing the camp with your team, especially when you got 3 other people doing it. He should be in that bush where he put that thing and just anchoring around there, rather than because right now when he's with us, he just gives them an opportunity to set up and just gank us for free. He should be, just anchoring in that bush, giving us vision, and making sure we're safe. That's more important for the tank rather than getting a few auto attacks on the camp. and that's something you should be communicating with your tank. You should be telling him, you know. The tank should also know this as well, but as the shot callers, you can help him, tell him where you want him.
Yeah, because I think Modern's not a tank player. I don't know what kind of player he is. He's not a player really, but he thinks that he checked the bush, right? Because he threw this fire in there. But if you're not actually in the bush, you don't get to. If you're in the bush, you can see everything on the other side. But if you just throw this fire, he's literally only checking that one area. He didn't
He saw
even
Tyrael. I
put
think he
his
saw
oil
Tyrael.
spill. No, he didn't see Tyrael.
I think Tyrael
Because
flashed.
Still only sees that tiny bit.
Ah.
So that's why Kava's standing there, because he knows he has no vision of him.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So it's just so important for tanks. Like, besides from tanking damage, your second priority is to just gain vision for your team without dying. You can't emphasize that enough. If you can gain vision for your team without dying, you'll gain so much value, and these games become so much easier for you. Just watch this.
Yeah.
Look how easy it is for them to set up. They set up with a dragon arrow from far away because they know exactly what we're doing, and we're blind. We don't know what's going on.
I know I could have jumped in the bunker, guys. I
Yeah, like
forgot bunker was a thing.
You forgot to ult before you did that.
yeah. If Modern checked that bush, he would have seen Tyrael. We could have just backed off. He would have seen Tyrael, and we could have taken the fight. Whatever it was, if we knew Tyrael, they were all there, then we could have done something different that wasn't just stand there. And
Yeah, we wouldn't have all clumped up for an arrow anyways. If they still tried to fight, Morden's in the bush too, and they're fighting through Morden, and a Dahak could dig too. But yeah, I could have lived there if I wasn't boosted.
No, that was really bad as well. Checking.
Again, the tank should have been checking there. You don't want your Lucio ever, your support just face checking bushes.
This is really good discipline by them. They got the keep, and that was they were happy with that.
Luckily the Maiev pops a big Warden thing.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't joking, guys, when I said if I asked Haki if he could play my app, I wouldn't pick it.
Holy shit, Haki. W then R. It's not a difficult concept.
Okay, he's literally level 4. He was level 4. So
And I hadn't played the game. It's my
Read
first
the
like game
page,
back
Tom.
after like a week and a half.
we knew this would probably happen.
Yeah,
but
I
we
just wanted to
try.
play her, she looked fun.
Yeah, like scrims is a lot more about learning as opposed to winning.
Yeah,
You
I learned then, well I didn't learn then actually, I learned a few QMs later, that you can't just put up like that.
Yeah. So don't take scrims too seriously. You want to learn from them as opposed to winning, because if you're only drafting the same heroes every single time in scrims just because you know they're your best heroes, you're not going to be able to expand your hero pools. You're not going to be able to learn what kind of heroes you need to bring into your hero pools. You just want to use scrims as a tool really to win your competitive game. So
No, also
don't take them
doesn't
too serious.
also doesn't mean draft like a different hero every scrim block. Still try and, you know, like focus on comps each map. Like have comps, like, you know, a couple comps each map for your certain people and stuff. Few heroes that everyone can play, so you've got a bit of leeway when you're drafting in an actual competitive game. But yeah, we get the pick now, and then we.
I'll show you quickly a little bit more of our team sheet that I haven't actually edited yet, but
You haven't edited mine.
yeah, this is also what we have to show on each map. So we have different priorities, just a couple of heroes, not the full draft. So for example, of Tomb, we know that Medic is really strong because the rotations are short, and Gul'dan's really strong. So if we can get one of those two strats, we're really happy with it. And on Dragonshire, Dahaka is really strong in the solo lane and things like that. Just small things that we prioritize when we play.
Of course, like other heroes can fill in for those heroes too.
Yeah.
But those are like two for example, strat 1 and strat 2. We try and like focus on, you know, getting one of those or something similar most of the time.
If you have 2 strats per map, you're almost guaranteed that you'll get at least one of them. Like
What's
the
something
support
similar?
core Ross.
What would you say is similar to Gul'dan in form of wave clear, sustained damage?
We fought Junkrat.
Combo of like Joanna and KT maybe Kael'thas. Something that can just
Jaina's not too
clear
bad.
just as quick.
Honestly, if we don't get Gul'dan halftime, we just go like Chromie or something.
Yeah, so we
Fluff out
might
with
like
Chromie.
change our style. For example, so in Braxis, if you can't win the wave clear, we pick Chromie, so at least we win
Yeah.
the poke.
Yeah, for example, if they take the Gul'dan Hanzo and shit, we're not going to win wave clear regardless of what we pick. We should have realised that and just got the Chromie instead. And look to just, poke them off it and try and get one shots on them. Get picks instead. Instead of trying to compete with their superior wave clear. And struggling like we did.
Yeah, so that's just an example of like things that you can add to your team sheet, just so your drafter can have a look at it and know on paper. Whenever they come into a map, I got Battlefield, I got Braxis, I got Volskaya tomorrow. What kind of heroes am I looking for? Okay, I want these 3 heroes on this map, and then you can draft from there. It makes drafting a lot less impromptu every time you get into a map. Okay, guys, what are we gonna do? You've already got a base layout that you kind of want to use every time.
So thanks to the super Maiev play, we're back in the game. We'll forget that I didn't get that auto there.
Okay, this is another example of the Blaze bug, where Morden said that he couldn't get out of the bunker, and we're all like, just let's get back, we're really low. He's just standing there in the bunker.
But yeah, that was also a really
Which
bad
is really,
situation for
really
us.
huge. So we lose the bossy.
Risky W into the boss there too, Haki.
It was already aggroed by Junkrat,
Yeah.
I think.
That was just a terrible fight. Like,
Yeah, the second I didn't get the auto, I could have got the auto on Malfield, but, level 4 Maiev, what are you going to do? The second I didn't get that, we should have not tunneled and kept chasing him. We should have just, gone back, done the camp and set up for the beacons. But instead we tunneled, and yeah, we got completely punished for it. Yeah, that's pretty much it from here. They're not like contesting these beacons because they know that like we have to go and clear the boss soon. So they're not giving us an opportunity to, make a comeback. They're just going to play it safe. The boss isn't going to get the keep itself unless we fuck up majorly. The Zerg's going to end the game top lane. They're just trying to,
That was a really, really well played by Malfield. Just being disciplined and knowing that he doesn't have to hold this point. Like, we were trying to kill him and then hold that point so that we could clear the boss without them getting the Zerg. But he knew that that's what we were trying to do, and all he had to do was just back off, and eventually we'd have to go bottom, and that's what happened.
like we were saying earlier, the boss creates the opportunity for the Zerg.
Yeah, like, see, they just leave here. They don't care about the boss. It does nothing. All there was is to get that Zerg to 100%.
And we know we need to get kills, otherwise we're just
We
going to
don't
lose the
get a
game.
kill here, we lost. So
Yeah,
we're
so
trying to fight it.
we also ignored the boss and just fought past it and got, big arrow. Maiev player tries to clutch it, but the team was just too heavy.
That one was actually a decent use for escape.
Thanks, man. I was
Yeah.
trying.
That was it. Like, both teams could have won this game, even though their draft was a lot better. But yeah, we just made mistakes and
Yeah.
end up losing.
Shows you why draft is so important, but also shows you what you can do if you do lose the draft and, the game's not
Yeah,
always
what
lost
kind
in
of
draft.
things you want to do to make a comeback? But yeah, I guess that's the difference between Open and Premier.
Yeah, huge difference.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for Braxis. Yeah, the big emphasis of Braxis just to reiterate some points. Drafting importance. The main thing is wave clear for your damage, sustain supports for sustain supports, so self-sustain tanks, and a winning solo lane, Sonya Malzag. Similar to DK, you want to make sure you communicate between top and bot. You don't need to win both of them. As long as you win one, they're not going to get the Zerg. So Just keep that in mind and don't get too hasty trying to recapture points. When you have your draft, for the 4-man, so for example, you're going to be either winning or losing the 4-man. If you're winning the 4-man, just keep pushing. Once you've gotten a fort or the outers, swap lanes with the solo laner and do the same to the other lane. Don't try to cap the points, or you're going to end up losing both lanes if you send people in different directions and not have your strong 4-man together. If you're losing the 4-man, look for fights. Try to gain point control by fighting, as opposed to trying to gain point control from wave clearing, and try to send ganks to top lane and win that lane instead. Oh, another big thing I didn't actually mention is try not to stagger your HP pools. So what I mean by this is, in the early game as a support, you need to keep your whole team kind of topped up if you want to get an even fight. So if your tank keeps on running out as soon as he's full, and then your damage is on half HP, by the time that your damage is full HP, your tank's going to be back on half HP. So just be a bit more patient and more disciplined. Get your team all to come back, top everyone up, tap whatever you need to do. But when you want to get back out there, you want everyone healthy, so that you're not just staggering your HP pools and ending up not being able to get a good fight for your team. There's nothing more frustrating than just sitting there and taking turns, taking damage, because you're never going to be able to take a good fight. What else is there? Oh, just the merc camps, the negative armor, easy camp. They're really tanky. They're great to push with. Try to get some value from them. The boss is really easy to kill, so don't think of it as a win condition on Braxis. Just try capture the boss when you get any advantage, just so that you can get the Zerg. Defending Zerg, make sure you don't fight into it, because the Zerg wave is going to aggro on your heroes and probably kill you. So just concentrate on clearing. Even if you have to sacrifice a keep, know that you're not going to lose the game, and as long as you haven't lost the game, then it's hot. So there's always opportunity for comebacks. And yeah, when you're a keep up, as I explained in Infernal Shrines, you don't have to fight. If you play the map, especially on 2-lane maps like Battlefield and Braxis, if you've got to keep up, as long as you just keep on pressuring the map slowly as 5, eventually that catapult lane is going to give you an advantage in a fight, and then you can just win the game. Yeah, I think that's about it for Braxis.